Oh my God, that new Fear Street movie is trash. I'm a person who was very high on those first three Fear Street movies, and so just to make sure it wasn't recency bias or maybe just cloudy judgment from the original three films, I went back and I watched the first 10 minutes of each one of those original Fear Street movies on Netflix. I must say, I'm not tripping. The original three movies were solid films. Not the best things in the world, but they were good movies. This new Fear Street Prom Queen is absolute garbage. My first impressions of it is that this thing felt incredibly lazy. So one of the biggest flaws in any film is that they want to tell you things instead of show you things. Instead of letting us learn about the characters via spending time with them, they decided to do an exposition dump within the first, let's say, 3 minutes of the movie. And just listening to it and watching it unfold, it felt like 10 minutes of just talking about characters instead of showing us those characters. I feel like every aspect of this movie is lazy. Just look at the setting. Setting it in the 1980s feels like a cheat code for Hollywood, or at least they believe that it's a cheat code, because you have all these sets that have been designed. You have all this nostalgia that exists. You have all these super popular records that you can go to. And so I think setting anything in the 80s to modern filmmaking makes them believe that they can just go there and then they can instantly pull a ton of information and use that in your film, and that will elevate your film because of maybe nostalgia, or for whatever reason, they believe it is like a successful recipe, including the 80s. But when I look at this movie, I look at all the different things that kind of play into the 80s, and it's all things that feel really, really lazy and are really not done well at all when you watch this movie. I look at the actual visuals, the performances from these actors, and they are hamming it up from the beginning just for the sake of hamming it up, because that's how people acted in the 80s. Setting things in the 80s gives you instant archetypes. You have the jocks, you have the bullies, you have the mean girl, popular girls, you have the nerds, you have all these different archetypes that exist. And it just lends itself to dialogue that is almost pre-existing. Like you can just pull lines and attitudes and character types from anything from the 1980s and then throw it in this film. And that's what it feels like they did. Like they just took generic bully from a 1980s film, put him in here, make him dress like this, walk, talk, act like this. Done. And when you have a movie that is not well done, really it felt like a made-for-TV film. But when you have something like that is excruciating to watch, it makes the pace all the more worse than it would be if it was just a regular film. You have weak dialogue, you have weak storytelling, super basic cinematography, and it all amounts to a movie that feels like it's going on forever. I had watched 20 minutes of this movie, and it felt like I had watched 45 minutes of anything. It just felt like it took so long to get to the point. And then once it started getting to the point, it didn't feel any better. This was a horrible entry into the Fear Street franchise. I don't see how they can get any worse than what they did with this one. I don't know if the whole brand is redeemable, because you started off on such a high note with those original three films, and then you come out with this prom queen stuff that feels like an ABC movie that's rated R. Just horrible stuff all the way around. Didn't like any of it. Let me know your thoughts if you have any in the comment section, and that's all we got for this one, y'all. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.